What is it about Loki, ladies and gentlemen? Why is everybody just in love with this guy, right? Like all of a sudden, he has that magnetic personality, right? Everyone just wants Loki, wants to hang out with Loki. You know, Luffy certainly did. You know, he's walking through the underworld and you see a giant chained to a tree and the giant's like, hey, what's up? And Luffy's like, all right. I can chill with this guy for a bit. That's pretty cool. And then he also has a pen pal named Mosa that he hangs out with. It might be getting catfish there. Not really sure on that one. But he has a pen pal. And then we see the Gods Knights showing up in Elbaf. And they're like, you know, they're not going after the Straw Hats, which is actually a big deal. Like, we're going to talk about that. That's kind of the whole premise of this video is the Gods Knights showed up to Elbaf, the location that the world government knows the Straw Hats went to after Egghead. They escaped Egghead with the help of the giant warrior pirates. They knew they were going to Elbaf. Jay Garcia Saturn even explicitly said, we're not going to Elbaf. Then again, look what happened to him, okay? He said that and then immediately disintegrated. So, I don't know. Maybe Garling has a different opinion on that. Maybe it's just like, yeah, no, that was that other guy. I'm the new Gorosei in town, and I'm saying we are going to Elbaf, right? So, yeah, but they're not going for the Straw Hats because we see the two shadowy individuals that showed up, Shanks' hot brother and sister, and they're just like, yeah, we're looking for Loki. Yeah, Straw Hat Luffy, one of the Yonko, you know, the whole Egghead incident, yada, 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 you know, Gear Fifth, you know, Sun God. We don't care about him. We want Loki first and foremost. Where is he at? All right. And then one of the giants was, you know, brought down by the woman's ability. Don't really know what that is yet. I'm going to go with Mythical Mummy Zone because she was clearly able to manipulate bandages and stuff and cause intense pain on that one giant. Now, I'm assuming the other giant is going to spill the beans. I'm assuming the other giant's friend is like, whoa, okay, let's just calm down now. You're looking for Loki, right? Okay, well, you know, he's down in the underworld. He's been chained to a tree for the last 6 years now. You go down there, just kind of circle the trunk of the treasure tree at him. I swear to God, there's only one giant down there. You won't be able to miss him. There you go, right? Okay, so, yeah, well, let's talk about, first of all, this is something I haven't really brought up a lot, but the special bounty that Loki was issued. All right, let's go into some facts involving that bounty. Right now in the story, Loki is the proud wielder of the 10th highest bounty in the One Piece world. See, this is maybe why I didn't bring it up, because when we found out the bounty, 2,600,000,000. That's a hearty number. That is a robust number, if there ever was one. If that number was a bowl of stew or possibly a soup, it would be very filling indeed. But it's not like one of the biggest numbers in the series. I mean, he's number 10. You know, it's an impressive bounty. It's a special bounty. We don't know why it's special, but whatever. Now, you know, to be fair, in this list, you still have to include Kaido and Big Mom's bounty still being active. I mean, we don't know for certain they're dead yet, so, like, that's it. So, what do you think, by the way, on that, really quick? Do you think Kaido and Big Mom are just straight up dead, and their bounties should just be deactivated? All that money's gonna go nowhere. Who gets that bounty, really? That sucks. But even if you know, exclude them, you take away Kaido and Big Mom, let's see, you have, Shanks. That would be the highest bounty, you know, after Kaido and Big Mom. Then you have Blackbeard, then you have Mihawk, then you have Buggy, then you have Luffy, then Kid and Law, and then after them is Loki, okay? Loki's bounty hovers just above Crocodile's, okay? Crocodile, not just above, but Crocodile's is the next lowest below him at 1,965,000,000, okay? Then we get into Dory and Broggy. Dory and Broggy are making the rankings as well, because they have 1.8 billion each. That's pretty impressive. I guess, actually, if you combine them together, they have 3,600,000,000. That is pretty good for Dory and Broggy right there. But at any rate, yeah, so why was Loki given this special bounty? And why are the Gods Knights going after him specifically right now? Okay? So I'm going to assume it has definitely something to do with the Devil Fruit ability. I don't think the government would have issued that bounty if he didn't eat the Devil Fruit, you know, because this is a very interesting circumstances here. That Devil Fruit, whatever it was probably in the hands of the giant, like, kings for hundreds of years, maybe even as far back as the Void Century, okay? And the government was maybe aware of it, maybe in the same vein as the Sun God Fruit. Like, it was a legend. And even people in the world government were kind of like, it doesn't really exist, or that power's never going going to awaken type deal. There is a lot of parallels between Luffy and Loki. In fact, in another manga, in another reality, Loki might have been the main character of this. He's the main character of Elbaf. If all of One Piece took place on Elbaf, you can bet your bottom dollar Loki would have been the protagonist. All right, he would have been the dude that we would have journeyed with the entire time, and he ends up here chained to a tree. In fact, I could see, like, if the situation was reversed and at some point in Luffy's future he ends up captured and chained to a tree, I could see him acting in a very similar way that Loki is acting right now. They have a very similar kind of personality, right? So, the government maybe knew about it, but it's like, we don't have to worry about that because it hasn't been an issue for like 8 centuries, okay? And then just like with Luffy, when he consumed the Gamu Gamu no Mi, and eventually was revealed to be the sun god Nika and awakened the power and everything, now the government is like, shit, now we have to deal with this, right? Kind of the same thing with Loki. Great, he has this power. Except this power is probably way more dangerous than even the sun god fruit. In fact, I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that this fruit might be the most dangerous devil fruit on the entire planet. Now, we know that Sengoku was talking about Whitebeard's being the most dangerous. Like, this man has the power to destroy the world. It's the strongest paramecia. Let me ask you a serious question here. Do you think even Sengoku knew about this thing with, like, this secret devil fruit in Elbaf with Loki and everything like that? Because Elbaf is not allied with the world government, and, you know, we know how many secrets the Gorosei keep from even, like, the higher-ups. Like, even Vegapunk didn't know a lot of things, right, okay? So, Sengoku probably wouldn't have known about that. Sengoku knew some stuff about the Will of D and the Void Century for sure, just by the virtue of his position as the Fleet Admiral. You're going to pick some stuff up. But, yeah, it's very likely that, you know, Sengoku did not know about the Sun God fruit. Sengoku did not know about this other fruit on Elbaf and how dangerous it was. Probably wasn't going to bring it up until it was relevant. Although, to be fair, if the event that caused Loki to be chained to the tree, I mean, well, it was the murder of his father, but I assume it was the murder of his father and also the consuming of the devil fruit. It was both of those things together that Loki was deemed a main threat at Elbaf, and all the giants had to rally together to chain him to the Atom Tree, okay? That would have happened during Sengoku's tenure as Fleet Admiral. I just doubt he would have known about it, okay? So, and Loki himself has even said, like, I'm gonna be the one to destroy the world, right? Like, I'm the one that can do that. Which, gotta be honest, he's owning it. You know what I mean? He's just like, hey, I have the power to destroy the world. Look, they chained me to this giant tree with sea stone because they're so afraid that I'm gonna destroy the world, which I totally am. Is he, though? Loki, are you really gonna destroy the world? I don't know. I don't know. You seem like a teddy bear to me sometimes. I don't know. You're gonna break out of there and you're gonna, like, roar a little bit like, I'm gonna destroy the world, watch me! And it's like, okay, Loki, go ahead. All right, you called my bluff. It's just like, all right. But does he have the potential to? Yeah, probably. Now, you would assume if he did have the ability to destroy the entire world that a bounty would be higher than 2.6 billion. I mean, that's pretty impressive, but like I said, it's only ranked 10 right now. So, you know, if the government learned that there was a giant on Elbaf right now that consumed a devil fruit, and that devil fruit had the potential to obliterate the entire planet, or maybe not obliterate the physical planet, but, like, deal a lot of damage to the planet. Like, deal enough damage that it's significant enough that, like, the world government's not going to be around anymore. Maybe it even has something to do with the ancient weapons or something during the tragedy 800 years ago. Probably not, but maybe, right? So, let's say there was an ability like that was that strong. Or, here's another idea. What if it's a devil fruit that if consumed by a human, like a regular-sized human, it wouldn't be that strong? I mean, it would be strong, but it wouldn't be world-endingly strong. But since it was consumed by a giant, and giants are, like, bigger, and they could just, like, the range of the attack is maybe wider, maybe now it's more dangerous to the point that it could destroy the planet. Maybe? I don't know. It's kind of like when San Juan Wolf, he ate, like, the giant fruit or the big fruit. If a normal human ate that, they could grow to giant size easily. But since San Juan Wolf was already a giant when he consumed it, he can get really big, you know, like huge, like mountain size now. All right? So maybe it's something like that. Like the fact that Loki's the one that ate it is also powerful. And also the fact that Loki himself is, like, a strong person. Like, he has Conqueror's Haki and everything like that. Once again, a lot of parallels to Luffy here, right? So, I don't know, 2.6 billion to destroy the world. I don't know, that seems a little low to me. That seems a little low. He has the bounty to destroy the world, but he has a lower bounty than Eustace Kid. I don't think Eustace Kid's destroying the world. Maybe Law could. I'm going to bet money on Law, not on Kid too much. You know what I mean? Like, Blackbeard has a higher bounty. Mihawk is the strongest swordsman in the world. He has a higher bounty. Shanks has a higher bounty, right? But it also could be maybe like, well, he has the ability to destroy the world, but he is also chained to a tree right now. I'm assuming the government probably knows that, and that's going to lead into the God's Night stuff here in a moment. But yeah, maybe it's like, okay, for right now, let's give him a 2.6 billion berry bounty, because we know he's chained up to the tree. This is a dangerous, precarious situation. If he breaks free, all hell could get loose. But for right now, let's just keep it 2.6 billion. Now, let's talk about Mosa. Mosa, or Shaggy, as this person is referred to as in the Viz translation. That's right, Loki is talking to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And we all know how strong Shaggy is. Now, Shaggy is legitimately strong enough to destroy the world. So, in this case, Loki is in good company. Loki is like, hey, he joined the club of people that can destroy the planet. So, he's hanging out with Shaggy and Beerus and everybody. They get together for brunch every Sunday. It's like, okay. So, the reason why in the Viz translation it's Shaggy and it's Mosa in this one is because I believe Mosa means to have shaggy hair. Bushy, shaggy hair, maybe in like a beard format or something, like a big shaggy beard or something would be Mosa, okay? So that might be the reference there on why this like nickname is being used. I don't think Mosa is this person's real name. I think it is kind of a situation where they're using like pen names over that Den Mushi. Still questioning exactly how that Den Mushi. There is a cold-resistant, voice-activated Den Mushi right next to Loki. Somebody gave that to him. Maybe it was just the humans in the forest that were obeying Loki's desires and be like, hey, Loki, we found this super rare specific Den Mushi in the woods. Here you go. And also you could talk to your pen pal now. It's like, all right, that's a little bit, very, very contrived there, but whatever. There's probably a story on how that Den Mushi ended up there. So, Mosa is this individual. We know nothing about them, okay? Except that Loki seems to refer to them with a certain level of respect. I think the honorific was Ko that he uses for Mosa. So it was like, yeah, I respect you, like I'm talking to you on like equal terms here. It's not like Loki was talking down to them or anything like that. We don't know their gender or anything either, right? Okay. So Mosa was talking about an event in their life where, like some horrible, horrible stuff happened. And Loki was saying, oh, if I was there in your place, Mosa, I would have murdered them all. Revenge is a best dish served cold or whatever, right? So he was going on about that, like revenge and everything, like kill them all kind of situation. And Mosa was like, well, let's not go crazy. I don't know if I really want to do that. So it seems like Mosa is, I hesitate to call Mosa meek because the aversion from murdering everybody that ever did you wrong, I don't know if that makes you meek necessarily, but definitely more meek than Loki. Loki is like, oh, if somebody did me wrong, I would murder them. I would take out my hammer and smash their heads right in front of me. And Mosa's like, okay, yeah, all right, well, that's, I don't know if I would do that, but like, all right. It's like, I understand where you're coming from, I suppose, Apparently Mosa had a really tragic past, and apparently Loki did as well, and they kind of like bonded over that a little bit, right? So what if this Mosa individual was the God's Night that we saw in the last chapter with the bandages, Shanks' hot sister with the mummy powers that, interrogated that giant? What if that's the individual, okay? I think it would make the most sense rather than introducing, like, two brand new characters here. Like, there's these God Knights that are invading Elbaf. Also, there was Loki's pen pal that has nothing to do with them. I feel like that could be the case there. I feel like Loki might have been getting catfished a little bit there. Because the government is obviously aware of Loki. They gave him the bounty, so they know he's there. They know he's chained to the tree. They know he's dangerous, and they gave him the special bounty. So it would make sense that the government would try to get in contact with him, but they're not going to try to get in contact with him directly, because, like, if the government just showed up and been like, hey, Loki, we'll let you go if you work for the government, that might be a little bit too heavy-handed. That might be a little bit too forward there, especially with a giant that might be be a walking nuke that can obliterate the planet. So it's like, okay, if we're going to do this, we got to do this like smart kind of way, right? What if we get in contact with Loki and we build trust with Loki and we kind of like get him to talk about his tragic backstory a little bit, and we get a handle for his personality, like a psychological profile type deal here with Loki, and then we can like, all right, now we show up. Like if this God's Night individual, the woman, manages to make it down there and find Loki in the primordial world, in the underworld, and reveals herself to be like, hey, it's been, you know, we've been talking for so long, it's crazy that I'm finally getting the chance to meet you. I'm Mosa. Nice to meet you. You know, Loki be like, Mosa, oh, hello there, yes. Well, I haven't had a chance to clean up my tree, right? Now, the term Mosa, if we are going with the term like Shaggy, shaggy hair, the woman, we don't know much about her appearance because her lower face is covered with bandages and she's wearing the hood. But from what we see, she has kind of shaggy hair, and the hair is like covering one of her eyes. Actually, and I just really noticed this, if you look at the woman's, like, the hair and the eye and everything we can see there, and then we look at Lilith, there actually is a little bit of a comparison there, right? Like, it's kind of similar, and I think it's no accident. You know, when Shanks' brother shows up, he's not wearing a mask or anything. We can very clearly see that he's either Shanks or Shanks' twin or something of that nature, the evil clone of Shanks. We know he's related to Shanks, right? Oda was more careful with the woman's face to make sure we couldn't see the whole thing right away. So maybe that's because when she takes off the mask and the bandages and the hood and everything, maybe she's also going to look like somebody that we recognize. I mean, that's like mangaka 101, you know what I mean? Like, have that out there and be like, oh, this character you didn't know who they looked like actually looks exactly like this character. What? And, you know, that got me thinking about a question. How did Vegapunk design the satellites? Like, Edison and Pythagoras were like robots, and they were actually based off of like cartoons from our world that Oda watched growing up. So that's the inspiration there. But like, Lilith's design, Atlas and York's design, like the way their facial structure looked and the hair and their eyes and everything like that. Did Vegapunk just pull that out of a hat? Like, just like, oh, I'm going to make a satellite in the form of a sexy lady. All right, so bangs covering one of the eyes, blonde hair, you know, like, was that all? Was it just like, you know, pure aesthetics for the sake of aesthetics? Just like that was Vegapunk's type or something? I don't know. Or what, was there a reason for it? Meaning, is Lilith based off of a real person? Maybe even the same thing for Atlas and York as well. And we don't know what Shaka's face looked like because he was wearing the helmet. But, you know, and we later see that the Vegapunks all have, like, detachable parts. So we see Shaka's head. Like, Shaka might have not have actually had a human appearance. Like, it might have, his head might have literally have just been the helmet, right? Because we see the other helmets, they kind of just screw on. So it might have just been that. But, like, when it comes to Lilith, Atlas, and York, coincidentally, the three satellites that are women and the three that actually look the most human compared to the ones that are male or identify as male, Pythagoras, Edison, and Shaka, and they look more like robots. Interesting there. So I'm wondering if there's a basis there. I wonder if this God's Night woman's going to take off her outfit and it's going to be revealed, oh my god, she looks like exactly like Lilith. Maybe not exactly like Lilith, but there's a comparison there. And then later on, we're going to find out, like, Lilith will probably just bring it up off to the cuff, like, oh yeah, I was based off of the design of one of the God's Knights. I think one of the God's Knights looked like me, and that's why Vegapunk picked this design. Why would Vegapunk pick that design? I don't know, man. I'm just throwing out ideas. She kind of looks like Lilith, you know, or it could just be Oda's drawing style looks kind of similar there. Could just be that too. But yeah, that would be interesting there. So that would be like a connection to the Vegapunks and then the God's Knights, and we would learn a little bit about the God's Knights there. Like, if Lilith was based off of that design, and there's a whole reason for that, that might be like, oh yeah, we've never seen the God's Knights up until now in the story. They're just finally doing stuff, but we have seen their appearances before in the way of Shanks and in the way of Lilith, just not in the way you assumed originally, right? And Vegapunk has been to Marijois, so he might have met the God's Knights before. It's totally possible there, right? So if Mosa is that woman, is Shanks' sister, and they meet, and there might be a situation there where they're going to want to free Loki now that Loki has built trust with Mosa. Like, I'm here. You said you wanted to get out of here and you wanted to turn the world upside down. Well, I'll help you, but how do I get you out of here kind of situation, right? Or it could be an elimination operation. It could just be like, we're here to kill you. We're not here to let you go because you're too dangerous. Like, even for the world government, like, could we get Loki working for us? It's too dangerous. We're not even going to risk it. We're not even going to roll that dice. Mosa might just be there to like, just kill Loki. Just like, no, we're here to kill you, but we're going to do it in a way that's like, we're not like, oh, yeah, we'll just let you go. It's like, what's your greatest weakness, by the way, Loki? Something like that. Just try to execute him before things get too intense. And we know things are really getting to a boiling point in the One Piece world right now. Like, the whole world knows about Vegapunk's message now, and people are going to start panicking, and there's open revolutions in the street. Like, Eam has the Oranos cannon blasting islands. So shit's getting insane right now. Maybe the government is like, okay, before we go any further with this, we got to make sure the Loki situation is dealt with before we deal with Blackbeard, before we deal with Luffy and the Straw Hats and the Sun God bullshit, before we deal with any of that crap. We need to take care of Loki, because if Loki is the wild card here that could end it all in a second, we need to take him out of the equation, and then after that, then we'll focus on everything else, and that's what the God's Knight's mission will be. Now, obviously, the God's Knights are going to run into the Straw Hats at some point. The Straw Hats are there, Loki is there, and let's just call her Mosa right now. Mosa, and then Shanks' brother, Hanks, is there as well. Luffy's going to run into Hanks at some point. That's going to occur, okay? Whether they're going to have like a big balls-out fight or something, yeah, who knows? But they are definitely going to meet. So there's actually an interesting way to make this work. Mosa and Hanks are heading down to see Loki right now. I'm sure the giant gave the location. Luffy is also like side questing to get the key and then go down there. Oh, what if Jarl has the key? Jarl shows up to the banquet and he has a big chain of keys on him, and maybe one of the keys is the key to Loki's cuffs. Luffy takes it and then goes down into the primordial world. At the same time, Mosa and Hanks show up and they all kind of rendezvous in front of Loki's tree. And then we have this awkward scene where Luffy's dealing with Shanks' brother and this woman's down there, and Loki's just chained to the tree and be like, excuse me, yeah, this is crazy, but can you guys let me go? Luffy and Shanks' brother are fighting, and it's like, could somebody just let me go? I want to get in on this, all right? I feel kind of like uninvolved. I feel like kind of just an object here chained to a tree, all right? And then they finally free Loki. Dude, when Loki finally gets freed, though, that double-page spread, which I'm sure, that triple-page spread, it's like in Shonen Jump, you gotta like open it up like a centerfold or something. It just folds out. Quadruple-page spread of Loki breaking out of his chains and like standing up, and the whole world, like the whole tree, begins to shift on how epically strong this dude is now that he has been unbound. Loki Unbound. See it this Friday in theaters. All right, I would go watch that. I would watch a One Piece movie called Loki Unbound. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? All right, I paid twice the price for that. All right. So anyway, yeah, that's just some random scattered thoughts there about Loki, his devil fruit, his bounty, the God's Knights showing up to talk to him. Luffy's probably going to rendezvous with him. But I think ultimately, he's not a bad guy. I really don't think he is. He's not going to immediately break out of his chains, and if he does have the power to like destroy Elbaf or the tree or the world, he's not going to do that right away. We're going to find out some stuff about Loki along the way there. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Teching signing out. And now we're moving on to Tree Facts. Letter M. We're about halfway through. Now, originally, I was going to pick the maple or perhaps the mahogany for this as a Team 4-star reference, like, mahogany. But then I saw the name of this tree, and I knew immediately, wait a minute, I need to talk about this. The monkey puzzle tree. The monkey puzzle tree. That is what it is called. I mean, that's its, like, nickname. Its official fancy Latin name is, oh, Lord, I'm just going to throw it down there because I'm going to mess this pronunciation up. Araucaria araucana? Okay. It grows in down in Chile, Argentina, that region of southern South America, right down there. And it's most famous because it is a tree that is essentially a living fossil. Every once in a while, you'll encounter some flora or fauna that haven't really changed evolutionarily all that much in sometimes millions and millions of years. And it's always really cool. The idea that this species, not this species specifically, maybe like some stuff might have changed over the last millions of years, but this animal more or less existed during the time of the dinosaurs. Like, that's always cool, right? So this tree is one of those trees. This tree is well over 200 million years old. So if you were to time travel back to the Cretaceous period during the time of the dinosaurs and see a T-Rex stomping around, I don't know if T-Rexes were native to South America. I don't know if they were in that region of the world. And obviously South America wasn't in the exact position it is now, like, 100 million years ago, 200 million years ago, whatever. But at any rate, if you went back in time, you would see this tree that still exists today. Isn't that cool? So it's a conifer, it's an evergreen tree, it grows to about 165 feet tall. This is a really cool scene of it in the backdrop of the silhouette. But the name Monkey Puzzle Tree, where the hell did that come from? So, like, with a lot of things, it goes back to the British. The British are the reason for this. So the year is like 1850. And this tree is being introduced into England. Okay, so they're bringing back seeds and samples from South America, and like some botanists and gardeners and everybody are beginning to plant this tree. So this one botanist that had this is growing it in his garden, and he has his friends over that all enjoy looking at plants, and they see this tree for the first time in their life, and there was a random dude that was like, ah, yes, a monkey would truly be puzzled climbing that, because the branches all split apart and it's all like mishmash and it looks like kind of a maze. So the idea of a monkey like climbing up the tree would kind of get lost or confused navigating the branches and canopy of this place. That is the reason why. It's like, ah, yes, that tree would puzzle even a monkey. It's like, all right, there it is. That's the that's the reason for the name. But anyway, cool sounding name, and it's a cool looking tree, right? So there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Teching signing out. Happy Sunday.